Bismillah, Bismillah, Bismillah. Bismillah, Bismillah, Bismillah. Alright, let's hope this works. This is the first time we are shooting the episode like this. As you know, I invested in another camera, so boom, we've got two angles now. Pow, pow. Okay, cool, stop. Anyway, I'm just really trying to take this podcasting seriously. I'm just going to really this is a self-reflection podcast, and most people don't do self-reflection podcasts, so it's very different to how people are used to doing it. Usually you have a guest to bounce off and all these things, where I don't have that. I just have myself and my man them, my people them, and that's all I need. All I need is a mic, camera, and you guys, and that's all I need, and we can change the world. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, you might be able to see a little book collection in it. I haven't cared about the book collection I've got out, so I only know that there's a few books there. But each week, instead of because I know people are interested in what books I'm reading sometimes, so I'm just going to put them here, and then people can just see, oh, these are the books he's reading, and then when one book's in and out, you'll be able to see and just basically keep up. But yeah, anyway, this episode today is sponsored by Human Appeal. Human Appeal is the greatest charity out there, doing some really good work. Again, I think we've raised about £260,000 altogether. Maybe no, sorry, but I think it's 250k, 170, 220,000. Sorry, £220,000 for the people of Turkey and the people of Palestine. We were starting one for the people of Sudan as well, but I'm not gonna lie, I can't remember why that didn't work out. I think there was a technical error with Instagram and the charity thing. However, again, I'm not going to keep on babbling on. This obviously episode is sponsored by Podcast. This month, or in the next few episodes, we will be introducing our first guest episode, which I am really excited about. Today's episode is about the pain of growth. I was reading a book, funnily enough, it was this one right here, the Book of Illuminations by Sheikh Ibn Atala, and there was just some points in it that I just really resonated with and I really enjoyed, and I thought I'd share it on this podcast. So, the pain of growth. Sorry, it's like 3:30 a.m. and I've got to go Gatwick. If we put it this way, if you're suffering or you're going through trials and tribulations, or you're going through pain, but there is a meaning behind it and there's a purpose behind it, you will be able to tolerate it a lot more than if it just seems like, a series of unfortunate events, or just this is just fate happening to you. However, we don't believe in fate, like just fate by itself. We believe God. Allah is the orchestra of fate. The orchestra? Yeah. And he dictates what fate befalls you. So if your knowledge of Allah is that he is the all-kind, the all-generous, the most loving, he loves you more than your parents, when you know it's coming from him and you know him to be a loving, caring being, then surely you question yourself when you're going through difficult trials and tribulations. Oh, it can't be all bad because it's coming from Allah. And then it brings me on to my point that Sheikh Ibn Atala says in the book. It says, what relieves you of the pain of bearing afflictions is that you know God is the one who afflicts you. And the difference is, when you know God is the one afflicting you, you know that God is an all-loving being. He's an all-caring being, the most merciful. All these names that we hear constantly day in, day out. But now that we know the affliction is coming from the one that we love, now it doesn't seem too daunting, because in our head, what we should be thinking is, well, Allah loves us more than a mother loves its child. And a mother wouldn't purposely put its child under trials and tribulations if there was no greater purpose, if there was no reason for someone going through pain. So the same thing you can liken to your own life. If you're going through heartbreak right now, if you're going through the loss of a loved one, if you're going through all these things, it's not just because Allah was bored one day and decided, let me just mess with Abdul today, or let me mess with Fatima today. That was not the way that God intends his decree or his fate. It's always with a purpose. It always has a meaning. Maybe you're just a little bit too close to it to understand what the meaning is at this point. And then there was a hadith, and then it follows up with, and it reminds you of a hadith where I think the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is talking to his companions, and he sees a mother with its child, and then the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam asks his companions, he says, "Do you think that that mother would throw its baby into the fire?" And then all the companions are like, "Oh, of course not. That's like the mother loves the child." And the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam turns and he says to the companions, he says, "The love Allah has for you is greater than the love that the mother has for the child." And if that's the case, and if that's what our mindset goes to when we think of Allah, why do we feel like Allah is just going to punish us, or again, in the hell sense, throw us into the fire for no reason, for no good reason, for no benefit of our own? Sometimes, and it reminded me of, and then again in the book it goes deeper, and it says, if a child was ill or it needed surgery, would the father of the child let a surgeon get these sharp scalpels and these surgical drills and surgical tools? And because again, if I said, I'm gonna like chop your leg off, or like open your leg, or like slice your leg open with a blade and change your organs around, so you'd be like, "Oh my God, that sounds terrible," until you know that no, you have to go through this process because you have cancer within you, so we have to cut it out, or we have to, I'm not sure the process of it, but again, there's an illness inside you, and in order for us to get the illness, we have to cut you open and remove the illness so you can live a long, fulfilling, healthy lifestyle. However, if you just focus on the fact that I'm cutting you open, that I've got a knife and I'm about to slice your, again, stomach open or whatever, if you just focus on that part there, I would look like a malicious doctor or an evil doctor. However, if I said, no, but I'm doing it to remove the illness that you have within you, which if left untreated will then go on to cause you even more harm and more pain, any father, any mother, even yourself would be like, okay, well, yeah, well, put me under the surgery then, put me through this necessary pain in order for me to, again, become better and come out on the other side a better person. And it's the same way when Allah is afflicting you with certain trials and tribulations, that they are there to purify you, in a sense, to better you. You might be asking for money from Allah, you might be asking for a partner from Allah, but if you are not ready to receive the money or receive a partner from Allah or receive a blessing from Allah, Allah will have to put you through something to level you up in order for you to be willing to receive what Allah has in store for you. I keep burping. This is 7-Up Zero. I don't know. I think 7-Up Zero has so much bubbles in that it just makes you burp a lot more. I'm sorry. But anyway, I apologize for the viewers. Then I will stop that. But So sometimes, and that's another thing. If we avoided the treatment, if we just said to Allah, don't give us any trials, any tribulations, no pain, no heartache, no loss, no disease, no nothing. It's like, well, think about it. If you was to avoid treatment, and we hear it so many times when people avoid treatments, or they got the treatment too late or whatever, and it now has a more detrimental effect on the person's life. If you are in a place where you can, again, get it early, get an illness early, it's like, it's better for you in the long run. However, if you avoid treatment, it only delays you might feel like you're going through life unscathed or whatever, but when a calamity hits later on down the line, it's going to affect you even worse because you haven't dealt with it when you should have dealt with it. So avoiding treatment will actually have a bigger detrimental effect on you, rather than just going through the necessary pain and trials and discomfort now to, again, have a better future. But again, humans, we think too much on the now and less of the future. We're too instant gratification. We want it now. If we can't, if it's not tangible now, it's like we don't almost care about it or think about it, whatever. It's a bit, I mean, I say that, I do it myself as well. That's why I order Uber Eats all the time. Again, I could cook a very nice, nutritious meal that is beneficial and tastes good and everything, and it gives me the right nutrients and proteins that I need. But no, Cheap Meals is there, and it's open till 3 a.m. and I'm just gonna bang an orders there because it's simple. But yeah, again, my last point is I've heard a lot of people sometimes say like, and I was talking to a friend the other day, and we were just talking about girls, and we was talking about like, sleeping with girls and stuff. Not that we, again, shouldn't do that, haram. But again, we was just, that's the thing. I love a lot of friends that are just, they know it's wrong, but they still do it. Do you know what I mean? So I was talking to some of my friends, well, friend specifically in this case, and I said, oh no, you need to leave the zina and sleeping with girls and blah blah blah. I said you need to, like, it needs to be kind of deaded, because it's not going to do you any good in the long run. And the person you're trying to become, because he is trying to become a better person, I said the person you're trying to become is having a negative effect on that goal, on that pursuit. And then I said sometimes, and I understand people's frustration sometimes, because it feels like when you go through like it feels like sometimes when you're going through Instagram, or you're going through the Quran, or you're going through TikTok and all these things, and sometimes it can kind of feel overwhelming, because you just see all the things that like Allah has made forbidden for you, or Allah has made haram for you. Oh, you can't have sex before marriage, or you can't do this, and you can't do this, and it's just all haram, 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 haram. Well, sometimes that's what it feels like. That's what people have said. But even if that is the case, it's not. But even if that was the case, Sheikh Al-Shadili said, God never forbids something out of stinginess or ill will. And that made me start to think. I said, sometimes from the lens of Allah and for us, sometimes deprivation can be a gift. Today as a society, we are so obsessed with freedom this and freedom that and freedom this, and we want no limits. But the thing is, when you have freedom with no limits, it actually becomes a detrimental process to yourself. For example, if I was to just eat chocolate every single day, just absolutely consume it every single day in large bulks, I would eventually become sick. Probably in the same day I would become sick. So we understand that in a lot of our lives, we need limits. Again, don't lift weights you can't lift in the gym. Don't lift too heavy weights. Don't eat too much junk food. Don't drink too much. Everything is in moderation. However, if we're obsessed with this notion of freedom to do whatever we want, and freedom to do with it, and freedom with no limits, it's like, all right, well, you also have to accept what the kind of negative effects that will kind of put into your life. Because, and I remember the same way. So when Sheikh Al-Shadili said, God never forbids. God never forbids something out of stinginess or ill will. It reminds me of like a mother and her child. You know, when your mum, when you was young, you never understood. And the thing is, you never understood it as a kid. Your mother said to you, no, this is to me, no, Umar, you can't eat half of that cake. And in my head, I'm really thinking like, well, why? Because I enjoy the cake. Therefore, why would I not want to eat all the cake? But she was depriving me of eating the whole cake in saving me from becoming sick later. Allah works the exact same way with the things He's made impermissible and the things He's made haram and the things that we should avoid. And a lot of the times, the things that Allah tells us to avoid, He's gave us a halal alternative anyway. But that's another thing for another day. But when Allah is saying that you can't do these things, like again, Sheikh Al-Shadili said, Allah does not forbid something out of ill will or stinginess. So that means He's doing it for your greater good. He's doing it for you. He's doing it for with the sole purpose of you in mind. And the thing is, if you was to be able to see the whole the picture, you would probably deprive yourself from it as well. And the thing is, when you have kids, or if you have kids, you'll deprive your kids from the same things. But sometimes I think we grow up and we just assume, because we're adults, we understand the universe and all of its metaphysics and everything, and all the way it works. It's like, but we don't. We are still kids in the eyes of Allah. We are still children. We don't have ultimate knowledge of these things. Therefore, we can't make the best decisions for ourselves. That's why, as Muslims, we submit our will to Allah, because we understand that we don't know everything. However, if you feel like you know everything, then you won't want to submit your will, and you've now submitted your will to your ego. So you have made yourself God. Everyone worships something, And if you give me enough time to talk to you, I'll be able to work out what it is you worship. Some people worship money, some people worship fame, some people worship their partners. Everyone has a God in their life. Muslims, we choose God to be Allah, again, the all-knowing. Why? Because he has the knowledge of everything. He has the understandings of everything. So when he's telling us to do something, it comes from a place of ultimate knowledge, which will then, in fact, improve and better and help our lives in terms of avoiding the pitfalls that so many people go through. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to stop it there, because how long have I been? Please, just don't be long. 16 minutes, that's not too bad, I'm not going to lie. But yeah, anyway, welcome to the new and improved self-reflection podcast with the 2 angles right now. I feel really cool right now. But yeah, inshallah, again, in the next 4 episodes, so I think there'll be like 3 more episodes like this, and then we'll have our first guest episode. I'm not going to tell you who the first guest is. All that I'm going to reveal is I will need to fly out to Egypt in order to get him on the podcast, because I had to say, this guy has to be my first guest. I can't have any other guest. That's why there's been a little bit of a delay, because in my head I'm like, I can't have any guest other than this person. It will just be wrong. So inshallah, I can get him. I can fly out and go see him and get him and have a great conversation with my bestie. But yes, anyway, make sure you go follow Human Appeal on social media, and make sure you follow them on Instagram and TikTok, and follow the fundraisers they've got going, and donate to the fundraisers, and follow the challenges and deployments that will be going on. And you can join us on the deployments, and also the deployments, and what's the other thing? Challenges, sorry. There's also a way for you to get involved. I'll be doing some of the challenges as well, so you can again meet me, and we can, I don't know, tackle the challenges that Human Appeal have planned for us. I'm really seriously thinking about not doing the bungee jumping one, because I don't know why I agreed to that at all. I think I said yes, and I didn't really look at what bungee jumping was. I thought that was the one when you jump out the plane. But anyway, I'll see you on the next episode. Hope you enjoy. Let me find where the X button is. Yes. Anyway, assalamu alaikum. Keep me in your du'as. Yeah.